Hi everyone, I'm Deirdre Lysett and I'm the Digital Presence Manager here in Aspira. Today I'm thrilled to be joined by our European Sales Manager, Stephen Hegarty. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So Stephen, you joined Aspira back in November 2018. What was your first role with the company?
So my first role was I was brought in as a salesman, and it was my job to drum up business from new and existing clientele, work on dormant accounts and bring some dormant accounts that we've done business before back to life. And I think when I started, I was seen as a flight risk. I think the only reason why I was given the opportunity because Pat and Russell liked me. We say we'll give this fella a chance to see if he can stand over what he says he can do. It was a challenge I was well up for, and I was determined to prove myself and gain the respect of my peers within the company and prove that I wasn't just a man in a suit, that I had a lot more to give.
So you've lost the suit and you've clearly gained the respect of
the
your
weight.
peers.
That's what you mean, is that I've clearly gained the weight over the last 2 years. Yeah. No, sorry, go on.
So how did that shape your career to date?
Yeah, very well. Like once I start gathering momentum, I felt that members of the business were more willing to help me, and help me achieve what I set out to do. And being successful is something that you can't do on your own. You need good people around you to help you get there and achieve your goals and company goals for that matter. And then anyone that claims to know it all knows very little. And this business throws obstacles at you every single day. You need to learn from your mistakes and not make the same one twice. And I've been selling more than half my life at this stage, and I'm still learning and still making mistakes, but learning from them. And like when I joined Aspira, I could see that there was such a wealth of knowledge within the company, and a lot of people invested their time into me, which made me a high achiever. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest.
Learning. So yeah. You clearly enjoy your job. Which aspects do you enjoy the most?
I do. I love my job. I get great pleasure from training people and making them into better salespeople. I get as much pleasure closing deals for myself as I do when helping a member of the sales team that I manage close a deal. Like sales can be a dirty word in most companies, and the general perception of a salesperson is that they'll sell you something you don't need. I like to look at our jobs as problem solvers and making our clients' lives a lot less painful and a lot easier. Because the biggest pain point that a client can have when resourcing a project is wasting their time, maybe dealing with some third-party companies that don't actually understand the business objective and the scope of a project, the key requirements from a personnel perspective or from a project perspective. I know one of the key pain points is reviewing a lot of CVs that don't match the requirements, or even worse, than interviewing incapable candidates. It's not fair on the candidate or the client, and the candidate's time is better spent interviewing for a role that they're going to exceed and excel in, and the client's time is better spent hitting project deadlines and not wasting their time interviewing.
Absolutely. So Stephen, what have you done? How have you streamlined the process for both clients and candidates within Aspira?
I like to think that we develop a solid, robust process that complements both candidates and clients. I was involved in developing a mechanism that filters out candidates that aren't capable in delivering. And this process that we've developed, it wouldn't be such as a success as it is if it didn't have the subject matter experts within Aspira for us as a sales and resources team to lean on for help, either reviewing technical tests or case studies or interviewing candidates. Like the key is getting the SME involved in the interview process, and that has been our key to success. They are the filter between eliminating unsuitable candidates, and with that support, like Aspira has the capability to properly vet candidates as good as external hiring managers. And the reason why we have that broad skill set within the company is that we have 6 offerings around advisory, training, technical and project resources, business applications, low code development, configuration, software development. Like, each of those service lines have subject matter experts running that division of the company. And if it wasn't for their help, I wouldn't be as successful as I have been to date, and neither would the sales team that we've built over the last year and a half. So thank you very much to every one of you that heads up each division. It's you're the key to our success.
So in your opinion then, what would be the 3 most important qualities for a successful salesperson or sales team?
For a successful sales team, I think there's a lot more than 3 qualities we should possess, but not in any order of importance. I think like empathy is a good quality to have. Like, we need to know what our, like, a good salesperson knows how to feel what their clients feel, understanding their pain points and figuring out ways to combat them. Again, like, salespeople need to know when to stop talking as well, and when qualifying an opportunity with a client, let the client do most of the talking. Let them tell you what they need, and then you can ask the appropriate questions at the end. Another quality I think that a sales team should have is confidence. Like, you need to believe in the product or service that you're selling. It's essential. Honesty will be another quality that a successful sales team needs to possess, because you should never commit to something that you can't deliver on just to get a job on. You know, if you fail, you're going to lose credibility, and you're going to lose it instantly, and in most cases you'll never get it back. One of the key attributes, I think, and probably will be up there with the top 3, would be persistence. Never give up. Like, if you keep knocking on a closed door, it's going to open eventually. And with persistence, you need patience. And success doesn't come overnight. Dedication, hard work, motivation, loving what you do is the recipe to success. And your time will come if you give it time.
Okay. So how have you helped then scale the business?
Okay. So look, when I joined Aspira, I thought it was very important that we invest into the appropriate tools that's going to set us up for success. So in order to scale quickly, I thought it was crucial for me to explain the importance of sharing information and recording information in one place, and come up with a strategic plan on how we can aggressively build on our database. And that was one element that I was involved in to help scale the business. I've also taken ownership of our CRM system, which is a Microsoft Dynamics. We're a Microsoft Gold partner, right? And in order to make sure that accurate data is being presented at operations meetings, I needed to make sure that the data that was being presented was accurate, right? And this helps the business to forecast a project figure against target, which enables us to make a decision if we're going to invest or scale in a specific team, put an investment into expanding the team, which we have done, over the last year and a half, and invested a lot of money into building a robust sales team in Ireland and the Netherlands, and a resourcing team in Ireland and the Netherlands as well. So I don't think we'd be where we are if we were presenting incorrect data at operations review.
So just around the resourcing then, can you tell me a little bit about the Aspira candidate placement system we have?
Yep. So this is a very important process that should never be overcomplicated. It's very simple. Once a role is properly qualified and the account manager and the client are aligned on what the requirements are, our first port of call is, right, let's see who we can free up internally to look at our bench. Is there anyone on the bench that matches the requirements that's available to go on site? Is there anybody becoming available, finishing up a project? And if so, we will explain the expectation from the hiring manager and what the project is about and what the end goal is. And we'd also involve the SME in talking to our employee about the project and actually interview them for the role. And then the SME will make the recommendation then based on specific needs, if we're the specific needs of the client, and if we're going to submit our candidate for that role. And in most cases, that's what happens.
Okay. So is it a bit more complex than if we don't have a resource in-house? And I suppose the second part of my question is, how does that differ for the client in terms of their experience?
Yeah, it's probably a longer process. And like in some instances, we do have to resource the market if we don't have anybody that matches the requirements or anybody that's becoming available. But it is, again, a very simple process, right? So you'd obviously advertise the jobs on the jobs boards that we use, do your Boolean searches on our database, shortlist candidates that are suitable. Among that shortlist will be people that we've worked with before that have either like moved on to a different company that may be becoming available again. And we'd say, like, when we do our shortlist on our database, we'd send the job spec and the key requirements in an email to each candidate. As well, we invest a lot of money into LinkedIn, and we would shortlist suitable candidates that are actively looking on the market, send them a mail shot. Then it's very important then to go back to your internal shortlist, your database, and pick up the phone and start ringing suitable candidates while in the background you're monitoring the responses from the job advertisement and the LinkedIn mail shot. So once the resourcing team have shortlisted a number of candidates that match the requirements and that are available and are interested in the role, the account manager and the SME would get involved then, and the SME would either interview all the candidates or eliminate some on paper. And once the internal interview is complete and the candidate passes, then we would either get them to do a technical test or a case study, depending on what the role is. That'll be reviewed and scored by the SME, and the top two candidates that pass will be submitted to the client. Get the candidate. I'm
just going to change direction for a moment and just get an insight into yourself. What would your work pet peeve be?
I've lots of them, but what really annoys me, a messy desk would annoy me, right? A messy kitchen counter would really annoy me, especially if the dishwasher is empty. Like, you know, it takes the same amount of effort to put a cup in the dishwasher as it does to just leave it on the counter. So that's one pet peeve in the workplace. And I suppose another one would be, I think this would probably be my top pet peeve, where it would be putting a used tea bag in the sink. Why not just put it in the bin? Like, the sink is here, the bin is there. It's going to end up in the bin anyway.
So you've been with Aspira since 2018. Is there anything that your colleagues don't know about you?
There's a few fun facts, but like, I'm not sure if there's some that colleagues don't know about me. I think it is quite well known that I used to be an Elvis impersonator and Johnny Cash, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and I used to play in a band at weddings and private functions. I suppose something else maybe that people don't know about me is that when I was made redundant from a previous job, I used some of that money to invest into buying a batch of personalised Christmas ornaments. Me and a friend went over to UK to sell them, which led then to a move to Morocco for a year, which is a whole different story. And what I was doing in Morocco was help setting up a factory, a confection factory for women's fashion.